Trump versus Meloni. Is the U.S. Italy alliance cracking? What happens when two leaders, two of the world's most prominent conservative leaders, publicly turn on each other? Just weeks ago, many political observers view Donald Trump and Giorgia Meloni as ideological allies, united by their conservative views and strong nationalist messages. Today, however, they are lacking a bitter public dispute that is making headlines across Europe and the United States. Did Trump really humiliate one of America's closest allies in Europe? Or is this just simply another example of political theater being amplified by the media? And more importantly, could this feud damage relationships between Washington and Rome at the time when the West is facing major challenges from Russia, China, Iran, and growing instability around the world? Let's examine what happened and why it matters and what it will mean for the future of the transatlantic alliance. Welcome back to When the Dust Settles, folks. My name is Pico Conway. Today we are discussing an unexpected diplomatic controversy between or involving U.S. President Donald Trump and Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. The dispute erupted after Trump claimed that during an interview with Italy's LA7 television channel that Meloni has begged him to take a photograph with her during a recent G7 summit in France. According to the U.S. president, the Italian prime minister repeatedly sought a photo opportunity, and was eager to repair what Trump suggested had become a strained relationship. The comment immediately generated controversy in Italy and throughout Europe. Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni wasted little time in responding. In the video statement posted to social media, she strongly rejected Trump's version of events. Meloni described the story as completely made up and said she was astonished by the president's remarks. She also emphasized that neither she personally nor Italy as a nation could ever beg anyone for anything. The response was unusually direct and highlighted just how serious the the dispute has become. For many observers, it marks the sharpest public criticism Meloni has ever directed toward Trump. From allies to rivals. What makes this story particularly remarkable is the history between the two leaders. For years, Giorgia Meloni was considered one of Trump's closest allies in Europe. She was considered one of Trump's closest allies in Europe. She attended Trump's inauguration in 2025 and was frequently described by international media as the bridge between Washington and European capitals. Both leaders built their political careers around conservative values, border security, national sovereignty, and criticism of globalist institutions. Yet recent months have revealed growing tensions. Reports suggest disagreements have emerged over U.S. policy toward Iran. You remember the Iran war? America's approach to international alliances and Trump's increasingly confrontational style towards some European partners. That's where the problems came from. The photo controversy appears to have transformed those underlying disagreements into a full-scale public dispute. A wider diplomatic problem. The issue extends beyond a simple disagreement over photograph. Meloni accused Trump of showing respect to America's adversaries while publicly insulting long-term allies. That criticism struck at the heart of a growing debate inside Europe. Many European leaders are asking whether Washington under Trump remains committed to traditional alliances or whether it is just pursuing a more transactional foreign policy. For Italy, the stakes are significant. The country remains one of America's key NATO partners and plays an important role in Mediterranean security, immigration policy, and European economic affairs. Any deterioration in U.S. Italy relationship could have consequences far beyond this personal dispute. Real consequences are already emerging. And I don't know whether it's going to stop there. The fallout is no longer just theoretical. Italian Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani reportedly canceled a planned visit to the United States. This is no theoretical reaction we're talking about. In addition, an U.S. Italy business conference scheduled for Miami was called off amid growing tensions. Political figures across Italy, including members of both governing coalition and opposition parties, rallied behind Meloni. Many argue that Trump's comments were not simply directed at the Prime Minister, but were disrespectful to Italy itself. This unusual show of unity demonstrates how seriously the controversy is being taken in Rome. But Trump is not backing down. Trump is doubling down. Rather than backing away from his remarks, Trump chose to reinforce them. The president continued to insist that Meloni has sought a photograph with him and suggested she was attempting to repair their relationship. So by doubling down, Trump ensured that the story remained in the international spotlight. The dispute has now become a major topic of discussion on both sides of the Atlantic. Why this matters? Some viewers may wonder why a disagreement over photograph deserves so much attention. That's why you may be asking, The answer is simple. The answer is simple. This story is not really about photograph. This story is not really about photograph. It is about trust between allies. It is about the personal relationships that often influence international diplomacy. And it is about whether political alliances built around shared interests or shared ideology can survive disagreements over national interests. History shows that strong personal relationships between leaders can strengthen international partnerships. The opposite is also true. When those relationships break down publicly, diplomatic cooperation often becomes more difficult. The confrontation between U.S. President Donald Trump and Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni may seem like a political theater, but it reveals a deeper questions about the future of Western alliances. Will this dispute fade away as quickly as it emerged? Or are we witnessing the beginning of a much larger rift between two leaders who were once considered natural allies? As global tensions continue to rise, the answer may have consequences far beyond Washington and Rome. It will have consequences far beyond Washington and Rome. Folks, what do you think? Was Trump telling the truth? Did Meloni overreact? Or does this controversy reveal a bigger or larger or deeper problems within the Western alliance? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Folks, if you enjoyed this discussion, please like, subscribe, and share this video. And before I conclude, I just want to say that Ivory Coast played a very, very good game today. I know everybody going to say that, oh, Germany performed, the class and what. Ivory Coast played Germany 50-50. That was a very good game Ivory Coast played. And I think Ivory Coast would have won the game or would have drew the game because they led the whole game. They scored in the 30th minute and Germany scored, I think, in the 60th plus minute. And then the Ivory Coast made some mistakes and Germany scored in the stoppage time of the game. That's why I was telling my friend who and myself watching the game that in the stoppage time, it's just not a good thing for a team to defend deep, and that's what Africa was doing. They defend deep, and the defender was not the defender who was playing on the far left, was not observing the play. He needed to move. That is money quarterback I'm doing. He was not observing the play because he played the guy in. At the time, he needed to move forward before the ball is played to show this guy was outside. But I think they play a very good game. I don't want to say anything. Everybody on the Ivorian team played very, very good. The next game will be against Croatia. I think they can win that game. But Germany too has to be very careful. Germany has to be very careful too because she must win against Ecuador. And Ecuador has a very good team. But anyway, folks, I just want to say a very big thank you to those of you who subscribe to our channel. We hope that you guys will watch our videos, share it with your friends, and smash that like button. Until next time, my name is Pico Conway. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.